Like an old car, it's like, you just gotta hit it with a rake. It should start right up.
Ash and Zach are super smart. They went to college and learned a bunch of stuff. And Bo and Andrew didn't go to college because that's just the way life goes sometimes. What happens when you put them together and you try to make them learn? Grab your friends, let's listen together on Get Dumped on an Info Dump Podcast.
Hey, buddy. It's time to podcast. We're podcasting now. Look at that podcast. It's time to go. We're podcasting now, and we're podcasting there, and we're podcasting fast, and we're podcasting slow. Come on. Why don't you listen? It's time to podcast. Listen to the podcast with your friends or your dad or your mom or your cousin. It's time to podcast. So get dumped on the Info Dump podcast.
Not like your brother or sister.
Today's podcast is
Just straight to cousin.
Andrew is podcasting today. He's the host. Look at him. He's the host.
What is happening? They just listened to a song, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They did.
I'll start over. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Get Dumped on Info Dump podcast. I'm your host. No, I'm not. Andrew's your host.
Are you the hostess with the mostest?
No, you're not. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Get Dumped on Info Dump podcast. A podcast where four friends get together. One of them info dumps on the other one. I am Zach. Also here is Ash. Say hi.
What? Hello? What? Hello?
And then Bo's here too. Say hi.
Hey.
That's Bo. And then we have Andrew. Andrew is going to be hosting today. He's said that he was doing something that we would enjoy, as is typically the advised when coming up with the topic, is to make sure it's something that everyone else will enjoy. So I'm excited to see what it is or hear what it is. That's podcast lingo. Talk about hearing stuff because you're not seeing anything because we're not using cameras.
He's spiraling.
Anyway, Andrew, why don't you take it away?
Why didn't you tell me to say hi? You told Ash and Bo to say hi, but you didn't tell me.
Because I was going to lead into you talking, and you're talking.
Hey, I'm here. I'm talking. What's up? Welcome to the Info Dump podcast.
You can start by saying hi.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
Hi.
Nice to meet y'all.
Hi, Andrew.
Welcome to the podcast. This is a rare Andrew episode.
What up? It's an Andrew episode.
Is it rare when you're the third most person to do them?
Probably. Third rare, third most rare. I don't know. But these episodes are usually off the rails because you guys go crazy, so I'm expecting a little bit of craziness today. We'll see what happens.
I'm pretty sleepy today, so yeah, probably.
Wake up, bitch. We got some shit to talk about.
Oh, I'm waking up!
That's Zach's wake up noise.
I'm waking up to ash and dust. I wipe my brow and I sweat the rust.
You could have said Ash and Zach, but you said Ash. It's fine.
This is a song. It's called Radioactive.
I know. You're trying to make it.
It's not a very good song.
About
That's the first one that I thought of.
Today, I am going to take you through a couple of stories, 2 stories to be exact, of a... what's the best way to say this? I'm just going to go ahead and say...
Why not 3?
Because I only prepared 2. Today, we're going to be talking about ambitious boats.
Oh, I love boats.
This is a boat-friendly podcast. I don't know how many boat episodes we've done, but it's a lot.
I mean, because it's like when you get on a boat, something interesting is going to happen.
Yes. And these ones that I'm about to talk about, something interesting does happen. It's kind of very, very interesting. Quick question for you guys, though. What is your favorite boat?
How could you ask me this?
Do you want me to answer for you, Zach?
Ash, can you answer for Zach? And if you get it right, you get 10 points.
The Charles W. Morgan.
That's what I was going to say.
What? That's crazy. What is that?
It is a whaling boat. It's the oldest. I was getting there, but okay, thank you. It was housed and restored for a bit at the place that Zach used to work. And Zach likes the whaling industry, or at least the historical whaling industry, because he's very sad for the whales.
Itself. Yeah.
Not current whaling either. There's no point for current whaling.
What about you, Ash? What's your favorite ship/boat?
The Charles W. Morgan. I don't know, I like big tall ships. I like the tall ships with the sails and the masts. Pretty cool.
Okay. You're going to like this story. Bo, what about you? What's your favorite one?
Bodie McBoatface.
Okay. Good boat. Classic boat.
Yeah, good choice.
We saw a pretty sweet boat when we were in Amsterdam a really long time ago. Do you remember what that was?
Yeah, that was a pretty sweet boat. I think it was called the Amsterdam.
The Amsterdam.
It was in Amsterdam, and it was called the Amsterdam.
In Amsterdam, there lived a
fun.
maid,
It was,
Mark. What I do say?
It was like this really big, cool, expensive ship that was wrecked on its maiden voyage, but it was really big and cool, and like they salvaged part of it and made a replica and store at the Maritime Museum in Amsterdam, and you can go tour it and see what it's like. And it's funny because it's a pretty bad ship because it wrecked literally.
That's true. Not a very good ship, but it was
wrecked
cool
like
because
3 weeks after
we got to
set
go on it
sail.
and see all the stuff.
It tried, okay?
Sometimes you fail, and you just have to pick yourself up by your flying jibs.
Boat. Your boat stuff?
Your flying jibs and get restored in Amsterdam.
Well, that is the theme for this podcast. This one is definitely ambitious boats, but let's just say they didn't do so well.
All right. Tell me about it, stud.
We'll start with the first one. The first one, if you've heard of it, please
hold on.
your... Oh, okay, holding.
Okay, continue.
What's
okay.
I had to mute my work computer because I was getting Slack notifications.
Stop working. It is 9:00 p.m. Anyway, if you've heard of these, please hold your questions and comments to the end. Zach, this is for you because you've probably heard of one of them. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm going to live fact check you.
Oh, God. The first one we're going to talk about is the Thomas W. Lawson. Do you know about this?
You told me not to say anything.
A yes or no would suffice.
No, I don't know anything about this.
Oh, thank God. Okay, good. All right, good start. The Thomas W. Lawson was a big ol' chonkers. It's in my notes.
How
was it?
big
Was it
old
an
chonkers
oh
was it?
Lord he coming?
It was. It was an oh Lord. It's sailing.
Maybe she coming, right? Because you refer to boats as she.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
It was a 7-masted steel-hulled schooner built for the Pacific trade of
What?
oil and coal.
I'm sorry.
Mm,
Did you say steel hold but with masts?
Yes.
Huh.
cool.
So it was used primarily to haul coal and oil along the east coast of the United States.
Coal and oil.
Coal and oil. It was named for a copper baron named Thomas W. Lawson, aka the name. He was a Boston millionaire, stockbroker, book author, and president of the Boston Bay State Gas Company.
How do
What
you
year
get
is
to
this?
be a baron of something? Is that like an actual title, or like can you just decide to be a baron?
I don't know. I would love to know how to become a baron because that sounds cool as fuck. But I don't know. Like we don't know any barons now.
Yeah. Do they still refer to people as barons? It doesn't.
From now on, will you guys refer me as the Baron?
Yeah, Baron Bow.
Well, you have to be the
forward.
something baron. You have to be the
Baron
something
Bow.
baron.
Oh, Baron Bow of the podcast.
The Bow
chicken,
Baron.
the chicken
Can
wing
I call you the
Baron.
Baron?
No, you cannot. Do
No,
not
how
address
dare
your
you.
Baron
How
as the
dare
Bowen.
you. Zach, to answer your question, it was 1902 when it was shoved off, I guess is what you would say
Cool beans.
in the boat words. Yeah, so it was 1902.
It's maiden voyage.
I'll shove you off.
It was the largest schooner and largest sailing vessel ever made without an engine built within. Now, they had engines
That's
in
fucked up.
ships this size, and there's a good reason for that, but this person didn't want to do that. Now, it was named
Save
after
on
Thomas...
fuel costs,
Yeah.
probably.
I don't know. Ew. Keeping that in. So it was named after Thomas W. Lawson. Quick, 2 dumps and a chump for you. Or wait,
Throwback.
2 chumps and a dump. It's been a long time. Why was it named the Thomas W. Lawson? Was it A, the company who ordered it thought he was neat? B, it resembled his massive ego? Or C, he paid for it?
He paid for it.
See.
Ego.
Duh. He paid for it.
Oh.
It's C. Little background on Mr. Lawson. At age 12, Thomas W. Lawson ran away from home to work at a Boston bank and quickly started dabbling in stocks. Because who needs middle school when you've got the stock market?
Who's letting a 12-year-old buy and sell stocks?
No idea. Someone
this
did
kid,
that.
This kid really seems like he's got a handle on things. Let's just hire him at the bank.
He's like, I like copper. Like, sign him up. Wah.
Gold is shiny. He's yelling for Gary. Him and Gary are on the other sides of the door right now.
Oh, Ash and Zach also got a new cat. His name is Gary, and he's adorable. Just
And we love
them
him.
on their life. Thomas also focused on copper mining shares, and he struck it rich during the copper boom of the 1890s, becoming a multi-millionaire.
The Gilded Age. Yes.
Yes.
Oh. Well, if
of
it's
course,
the-
23
if it-
Skidoo.
what's gilding but with copper?
That's a good question. There are different
Coppering.
metal plating.
I don't know. This isn't about that. But he did have
But now
big
I'm
dreams.
curious.
He really wanted to turn Grand Rivers, Kentucky into
Brass?
a steel-producing powerhouse to rival Pittsburgh. Spoiler, didn't work.
Yeah, that's you got to make a lot of steel to rival Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he failed. He also built a $6 million mansion in, I cannot say this, Scituate, Massachusetts? Scituate?
Spell it.
It's
Put it in the
Situate.
Situate. Situate?
Isn't it Situate?
Put it in the chat.
Maybe. Anyway, he built it in Situate, Massachusetts, and he called it Dream World,
You fucker.
which sounds like a theme park, but was more of a look how rich I am statement.
Okay, I don't want to derail anymore. But Dreamworld sounds like the name of a theme park. Does anyone remember how good Ash's episode on the history of roller coasters was? That was a really good episode.
That was a very good episode. Still one of my favorites.
Funny thing is, I'm not saying this is the bullshit. I was thinking about that episode the other day because my TikTok was very full of roller coasters recently. I don't know why.
That was so
And I thought
long
about,
ago.
like Ash
and I
would love
thought
this.
about the episode.
That was a really good episode. If you're listening to this, go listen to that. It's like, what, the 4th episode? And it still rings true as one of the
It
best
was
ones.
so
Still
long
very good.
ago.
It was almost 2 years ago. We've been doing this for a while. Let's see here. Where was I? Oh, in 1899, Lawson teamed up with Henry H. Rogers and William Rockefeller to form the Amalgamated Copper Mining Company, aiming to dominate the copper market. It was controversial,
Seems like they succeeded.
and they did. They got plenty of criticism, eventually rebranding the name as Anaconda Copper in 1915. Dope as shit name.
Anaconda Copper. It rolls off
That's
the tongue
so
nicely.
cool. Yeah,
Anacapa.
marketing did well there.
Anacopta.
Anaconda Copper.
And the copper. Lawson later had a falling out with his partners and became a crusader for financial reform, providing that even multimillionaires can have a change of heart. Pretty neat.
Sorry, what was that again? I was too busy in my head trying to come up with an Anaconda Copper.
A portmanteau. Yeah, he had a falling out with his partners and he became a crusader for financial reform.
Aha.
What does that?
Out of
What does that
spite,
mean,
probably.
though?
I don't know. Didn't look that much into it.
These
And in
guys suck, so I'm gonna
1918,
make sure they pay more taxes.
yeah, he ran for the U.S. Senate as an independent and he finished third with 5.26% of the vote.
Not great.
Didn't do well. And then yada, yada, yada. Later, he died of diabetes. That's the end of Thomas W. Lawson.
Who doesn't die of diabetes, you know?
Yeah, I know. At least back then,
Listeners,
a lot of people.
Listeners, did you know that Andrew has diabetes?
I
Fun
do not
fact.
have diabetes. Zach has been trying to convince me I have diabetes for some reason for the better part of 3 years now.
If you're a copper baron and you don't have diabetes, like,
What are you
What are you
doing?
I think you're doing it wrong.
What are
Yeah,
you
you've got to have one of the rich man diseases. If you don't have diabetes, you got to have gout,
Or like
you know?
gout. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, classic. Lumbago. Back to the ship. So at the time, it was the largest pure sailing vessel in terms of tonnage.
Lumbago is a poor person disease. That's just what they called sciatica back then.
In terms of tonnage ever built, it was the largest pure sailing vessel ever made. Pretty big.
Pure
pretty dope.
sailing vessel. It's an interesting turn of phrase.
Yeah. It was interesting. It was designed to help sailing ships compete with the growing steamship freight trade. I don't know why they didn't make it into a steamship, though.
Hey guys, maybe if steamships are taking over, maybe regular ships are on their way out. I'm just saying.
Yeah. One would think that. That seems to be the smart person thing to think.
Yeah, I mean,
But since
you know,
they decided to use wind power rather than, fucking engines, it didn't go very well.
But
You know what
that's
I'm
the
going to
thing.
do? I'm going to strap a bunch of sails to this hunk of metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see the like thought process, because if you have a steam engine, then that means that you have to pay for and store a bunch of coal that you can use. Like, I bet that the boiler is probably really big at this time too. So you've got to have
Especially-
a massive amount of coal. You've got to have a huge boiler. But so if you get rid of that, you don't have to pay for the fuel and you have more space for cargo.
Well, and if your cargo is coal and oil, it can get confusing. It's like, what's our coal? What's their coal? What are we even doing here?
Exactly.
Where's a wall? We need a wall in between these. So as Ash said, though, the hull was way too big. Its sails were too small, and its load capacity had to be reduced from the original 11,000 to 7,400 tons. And this made it way less
I
efficient.
mean, that's still a lot.
It's still a lot, but it's not as much as the steam engine ones. And it made it way less efficient and unable to carry enough cargo to be profitable.
That's a big yikes. Seems like
Yeah,
they should have
that's a
hired
yikes.
like a ship physicist or something to be like, hey, is this gonna work?
Short answer, no. Long answer, no. The Thomas W. Lawson was launched on July 10th, 1902, and it was basically a skyscraper lying on its side. It stretched 475 feet long,
Holy shit.
had 7 masts, each 193 feet tall because apparently 6 masts weren't enough, and it carried 25 sails covering a whopping 43,000 square feet of canvas.
Good Lord.
It
Wow.
was huge. At first, the hull was painted white, but later they switched to black because someone realized it looked fucking badass. That's me imagine.
I mean,
I
accurate.
respect it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And badass it did look. We'll share some pictures with you now. We'll post these on the Instagram. This thing is pretty fucking cool.
How long did you say it was? 200 something feet?
400 something feet.
475 feet long.
475 feet. Wow. For comparison, the Endurance was 144 feet long,
That is tiny.
What's
but-
how tall is the Empire State Building?
but the Titanic was
don't know.
882 feet long.
But
So
that
it's
had
half
engines.
a Titanic.
So half a Titanic with no engines.
The Titanic, the Empire State Building is 1,250 feet tall.
Okay. All right. So just like
So it's a
barely
fourth of
nothing
it.
compared to the Empire State Building.
So there's the pictures of the boat. It looks pretty cool. Not gonna lie.
That's tight as hell. Honestly, that's
Big
sick.
ass fucking boat.
Like,
It's
I'm
so
super
cool.
into it.
It looks really cool, but it also looks wildly inefficient.
It looks like somebody took a picture of a regular ship and then tried to expand it with Photoshop generative fill.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's just like more sails?
Looks like the Corsair. Was it Who's that? Who's that company that makes mouses and keyboards?
Corsair?
Corsair. Yeah. Looks like that logo, but just with more flags. A lot more flags.
It's Corsair.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing was a massive chonkers. So the masts themselves, they actually went through a lot of naming. Very interesting. There was a lot about naming the masts on this. So the masts of the Thomas W. Lawson went through many name changes, and it's hard to keep track. During its construction, they were simply called number 1 to number 7.
That seems the most efficient.
Makes sense? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, put up the 4th one. Okay, sir. But they later renamed the last one the Spanker mast. Don't know why.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Hello.
Maybe it was like a little bit jank and you had to like smack it a couple times
Like
to get it to
spank
do
it,
what you
be like,
wanted. Like, you just got to
stop it.
spank it a little bit.
Good little thinkaroo. And by launch day, the names had shifted
Just
to things like fore, main, mizzen, spanker, jigger, driver, and pusher.
Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen.
Yeah, confusing as hell.
Dude,
Why not?
can you imagine
1,
being on the
2,
sea
3,
and being like,
4, 5?
There, we've got
Tag
a problem
yourself
on
on Spanker.
Spanker. And being like,
Like, which one is spanker? We didn't
that's
label these.
Dancer. Fuck. God, I don't know.
Which one is vixen? And after the launch, they settled on forecastle, fore, main, mizzen, jigger, and spanker.
No.
I don't know
No.
what order those are in.
I love Spanker. That's my favorite.
Spanker's
So it seems
the only one that's
Spanker is the one
acceptable.
that's stuck.
That's why I think that I'm right that you had to spank it a little bit.
You know what? That's the only thing that sounds right. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes.
Like an old car, you know, it's like, you just gotta hit it with a rake. It should start right up.
But the crew couldn't resist getting even more creative. Some preferred fore, main, mizzen, rusher, driver, jigger, and spanker, still spanker, while others stuck with numbers like fore, main, mizzen, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Okay.
And there was 2 named 4.
You can't have both of them named 4.
Yeah.
The first 4 or
One
the
was
second 4?
4, F-O-R-E, and then the 4th being
Is
number 4.
yeah.
Confusing.
See, there you go. Yeah, so you can have 2 4s. Easy. Boom. Solved the problem.
But should you is the real question.
Yes.
Answer,
Hey, can
no.
you raise the mast on 4?
Yes? I guess. There was even a suggestion to name the masts after each days of the week, with the foremast as Sunday and the spanker mast as Saturday. And it seems like there was a real struggle just trying to figure out what to fucking call this thing.
Yeah, especially because I've noticed there's a lot of debate between people over which day of the week is the first day of the week.
On a calendar, it's Sunday.
It's definitely not 4.
After industrialization, it's Monday.
What day is Spank Day, though?
That's gotta be Sunday, right? Getting
on-
spanked for God? No, that wasn't
Oh,
in
yeah.
your guys' churches.
Sure. Yeah, totally.
Well, I wait.
Spank for God.
Hold on. Pull something up, but I'm hoping it's not about Spank Out Day. I think it's actually an anti-spanking day. Never mind, carry on. I was looking, every day is like a national something day. So I looked up National
Spanking Day.
But it was Spank Out Day. So I think they're trying to say no more spanking. And so now.
Only one day of the year, though.
Yeah,
You can spank any other day.
I'm gonna spank harder that day.
Would a spank from God be a good band name?
Godspank.
Wait,
That's like Godsmack.
Yeah, that's basically just
that's our
Godsmack.
cover band. It's our shitty cover band of Godsmack.
Yeah, it's the shitty cover
It's
band
even
of Godsmack.
worse.
It's Godspank. I spank alone. Okay, so let's move on.
Bring it low.
So moving on to the hull, the Thomas W. Lawson was built with a steel hull, high sides, and a double bottom 4 feet deep, holding 1,000 tons of water ballast. Basically, it was a tank of sailing ships.
Wow.
It weighed
I bet you Thomas Lawson had a
5,200
steel hole.
diabetes. It weighed 5,218 gross tons and could carry nearly 11,000 tons of coal, or so was claimed when it was being built, and needed roughly
you just told us it wasn't
18
that.
crew members. Yeah. However, eastern ports, except for one specifically, the Newport News one in Virginia, all the other ones, though, they were too shallow for the ship when it was fully loaded, so it had to carry a reduced load of 7,400 tons to stay afloat.
Oops.
Yikes.
Should have thought of that
Oopsie poopsie.
before, idiots.
Yeah, that's a dang it. That's an oops.
That's a big oopsie. That's a my bad.
Sorry, guys. Sailing this thing apparently was a bitch and a half to get it in and out of ports because of its size. Many crew members reportedly quit because of how much of a chore it was getting this thing around. And amazingly, it kept going from 1902 to 1907.
Yeah, and nobody knew what fucking mast anyone was talking about, so it's probably impossible to do anything.
Yeah, like, turn it around. Like, oh God. Like every other ship was like, turn on the engine, turn left. These guys raise the 4, 5, 6. Sorry, the 4, the mizzen resher driver. Spanker.
That one.
Spanker it.
Give it a hard spank.
Yeah. So I said from 1902 to 1907 because there was an incident.
Tell me about it, stud.
In 1907, the Thomas W. Lawson set sail under charter to the Anglo-American Oil Company to deliver 58,000 barrels of paraffin oil from Philadelphia to London. But before leaving, things went wrong. 6 crew members quit over pay issues, forcing the new captain George Washington Dow to hire replacements who weren't exactly seasoned sailors, and they did not speak English. Not a great start for someone on the world's largest ship with the most confusing layout and names. The ship departed on November 20th under good weather, but the Atlantic had other plans. A day later, the storms hit, and for 20 miserable days, the schooner battled rough seas, losing most of its sails, all but one lifeboat, and suffering clogged pumps after seawater mixed with coal in the hold. And somehow, the ship made it to the Celtic Sea near England, but on December 13th, things went from bad to worse. After mistakenly sailing inside of the Bishop Rock Lighthouse, I don't know what that means, but I assume he went too close to the lighthouse or went around the back of it or something. Captain Dow anchored near a dangerous shallows to ride out the incoming storm. Lifeboat crews from nearby islands offered to help, but the captain refused, for some reason, trusting his anchors. Spoiler alert, bad call. A pilot on a nearby island named Billy Cook did come aboard. His name was Billy Cook Hicks. That was his nickname was Cook.
Good name.
He is great. He did come aboard to help, but during the night, the storm intensified, both anchor chains snapped, and the ship was driven onto rocks near the Isles of Scilly. I want to say that, Scilly.
Sure.
What followed was absolute chaos. The ship's 7 masts all broke off. I'm not going to name them.
Not Spanker.
Not the Spanker.
Not the fanny mast.
Not the fanny. Sending crew members who had climbed the rigging into the sea. The stern broke apart, the ship capsized, and by morning, only the upturned keel was visible. Of the 18 crew members and the pilot, only Captain Dow and the engineer Edward Rowe survived. They managed to jump into the sea before the ship sank and were later rescued by Billy Cook's son, which is kind of cool of him, I guess. Tragically, the rest of the crew, though, drowned.
All the other people were like standing around being like, okay, we said this we offered you help.
Yeah, they're like, okay, Mr. fucking Pirates of the Caribbean over here with your ship without engines. Many of the crew was trapped in oil-covered water or tangled within the rigging. 4 bodies were recovered, while others were too mangled to identify and were buried in a mass grave on St. Agnes. And this is widely regarded and considered the first major oil spill in history.
Oh, great.
Yay.
Good for him for being the first.
Starting a long tradition.
A long tradition of just terrible things to happen to the ocean.
The long tradition of treating your employees like shit, hubris of people who have way too much money, and
Yeah.
spilling toxic things into the ocean.
Yes. And that is the end of the Thomas W. Lawson ship.
Jesus.
Did they have Dawn soap to clean off the shorebirds with?
Oh my gosh, probably not. They're probably just like, shorebirds, fuck them.
Irish Spring. Because it was near Ireland.
Oh, I see.
It was a joke.
Ha ha ha.
But yeah,
Good joke.
apparently it's still there. If you do want to go see it, you can go scuba dive to it and check it out.
Wow.
But that is the end of the Thomas W. Lawson. Much like Thomas W. Lawson died of diabetes, his ship died of being terrible.
Beaten against those rocks.
Andrew,
Yeah, smashing against rocks.
Do me a favor, Andrew, and stay away from ships because you've known to have diabetes.
I guess I am known to do that.
Diabetes and ships.
No cruise ships for this cowpoke.
Yeah, no, please.
Yeah. What do we think about the Thomas W. Lawson?
Spanker will go down in history.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
R.I.P. Spanker. Maybe put an engine in your fucking boat when it's that big.
Making a gigantic ship in defiance of God and the physics of the world, and the solution to that just being, let's just slap masts on it until it works.
More masts.
It sort of worked. It definitely sort of worked.
Definition of the fake it till you make it boat.
Fuck around and find out.
And find out it did at the bottom of the ocean. Yeah, this thing is absolutely massive. If you're listening to this, check out our Instagram. The pictures are just insane. Coming from a time where we had engines, and this guy was like, no.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
It's new and scary.
I mean, could you imagine seeing that thing coming into port, though? Like all black, 475 feet long.
And then being like, we can't
Made of
stop.
steel. Yeah, the momentum is probably insane.
The momentum's crazy. The people on board are screaming words you've never heard before, like mizzen and spanker and forecastle.
Well, I mean,
what is happening?
That's a pretty, I'm sure many of those are common nautical terms. They just sound stupid to us. Like the forecastle.
Is that?
It's like a cabin on the ship where stuff happens. It's near the front of the ship.
So
Stuff
it's
happens.
already
What kind of
already
stuff?
a thing on a ship.
Yeah, they call it the forecastle. It's part of the upper deck, and it's where people stand and like observe things.
Is that the poop deck?
No, it's a different deck. I don't remember what all the decks are. Okay, it's been like 10 years since I worked at the seaport.
Wow, I thought you were a boat guy. I was mistaken.
Yeah, I guess I'm just a boat poser.
All the people are probably
a bozer.
A bozer.
Oh. All the people who know anything about ships are probably mad that you're calling them boats.
Yeah, probably.
If it can
At least you're not a Bo Baron poser, though. A Baron Bozer.
Don't you dare mock the Baron.
So yeah, that was our first story about the Thomas W. Lawson.
Wow, what a bad boat. Yay, that's fun.
It was terrible.
Yay.
Just awful. Well, speaking of awful boats or ships, we got one more for you.
Tell me about it, stud.
Have you heard of the SS Bessemer?
No, but I kind of like the way that it sounds. SS Bessemer.
The
SS
Bessemer.
The
Say it again for me.
Bessemer.
Bo, say it in your sexiest voice.
No.
No,
That was really
come on.
sexy.
No.
Give me, just tickle my ears with your.
Like imagine like
Do your
like
NPR
you-
voice.
Stay away from me,
Yeah,
you pervert.
NPR.
No.
You've got a lady down with you, and all you have to do is say one thing to seal the deal, and it's SS Bessemer.
No.
Oh God,
SS Bessemer.
no sex for Bo. Well, the SS Bessemer. This took place roughly around 1875. This was before our friend the Thomas W. Lawson.
Oh, wow, so you're just
Decided
doing this out of
to do
order.
this terrible
How
thing.
could you do this to me?
I don't know. I have no
He's
real
going
reason for it.
from most recent to oldest. That is still in order.
Sure.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, let me set the scene for you. In September 1874, a girl named Miss Bessie Wright smashed a bottle of champagne against the bow of a new steamer, sending it into the Humber River, launching one of the strangest ships ever built. The SS Bessemer saloon steamship was the brainchild of her grandfather, Sir Harry Bessemer, another ship named after a guy. Who knew? He convinced investors to chip in 250,000 euros to bring his wild idea to life. The result? A 350-foot paddle steamer with 4 paddle wheels, 2 on each side, and a design so symmetrical that it had 2 bridges, 2 helms, and could travel just as fast in reverse as it could forward, hitting speeds of up to 20 miles an hour. But the real thing about this ship was its swinging saloon.
Tell me about it. Why is it swinging?
Did you say this? Did you say this was a riverboat?
This was a boat that was made to channel people across the English Channel.
Uh-huh.
Now, I just shared a picture. Could someone please explain what's happening in this picture? And I'll tell you if you're right or wrong.
That's so cool. It's like the Inception set for a ship.
Yeah, or like that scene, the set for that scene in The Fly where they have Jeff Goldblum climbing up the wall onto the ceiling, and so it's just a rotating room. But because, yeah, that's tight. So
I assume it's meant to keep the saloon steady during violent seas.
Okay, so what I'm seeing here is a cross-section of a ship with the hull and the kind of main deck of it separate. And the main deck seems to be mounted on some sort of gyroscope or some sort of swiveling situation to keep it level while the hull bounces around at sea.
Yes. So the center of the ship, essentially the Pringles can that is the center of the ship, would stay as level as possible for everyone on board who paid for those seats to have a nice, easy ride while the outside of the ship rocks with the seas. It's pretty interesting, to say the least.
That's super cool.
I think I have another picture of here. Let me see. Yeah, I got a couple here. Here is the plans for the ship, and here is what it looked like from the outside. Put these on our Instagram. Very, very cool.
Oh, man, I love the look of an old fucking riverboat channel thing with those with those stacks.
Yes, and this one had engine, unlike the last one. And this was
water wheels on the sides or whatever they call them. I'm sleepy. I can't think of any words. All I can do is be a sassy bitch.
They're paddle wheels.
Paddle wheels. That's so
paddle
cool.
Wheel.
I love a good paddle wheel ship.
It's a very, very cool ship. Very cool looking, very cool design. First of its kind, too.
I'm sad that it sank, probably.
Well, we'll get there. At the heart of the vessel was a 70-foot cabin designed to stay level no matter how much the rest of the ship rocked. It was powered by a special steam turbine and Henry Bessemer's patented gyroscope mechanism. This engineering marvel was meant to keep the first-class passengers blissfully free of seasickness, even in choppy waters. Unfortunately, second-class passengers didn't get the same luxury. They were stuck in the regular cabin at the top of the ship, sailing the old-fashioned way. Yeah.
Like chumps.
Yeah, it was a ship like no one had ever seen before, blending luxury, innovation, and a bit of fuck you second-class attitude.
I imagine there's a lot of failure points in the design.
It also looks like in the second image or the third image that you sent, there's a top-down view, and it looks like the saloon part, which is the part that stays still, right, is relatively small compared to the rest of the boat.
Yeah, that was 70 feet. The rest of the boat was was much bigger. But yeah, there was a center section that was supposedly seasick free.
Which is good for a saloon because you don't want to be seasick and drunk.
Yes. So the Bessemer was designed specifically to tackle the choppy waters of the English Channel, ferrying passengers between Dover and Calais.
Calais.
That's it. I don't know English
That was where the swordsman was from. That Henry VIII sent word for the swordsman to come over from Calais to behead Anne Boleyn.
Oh shit!
Call back to our previous episode.
Please listen.
It's also French, not English, right?
Yeah, it's
the English
France.
Channel.
Yeah,
but the channel's between.
What's on the
England
other side of the channel? France.
Yeah, Zach. At its top speed, the 20 nautical mile journey would take just an hour, barely enough time to enjoy the novelty of seasickness-free ride. Nice and easy.
I mean, if you're one of the rich people, if you're one of the poor people, I think you probably an hour feels long.
You would just be like,
the longest hour of your life.
I know. So Sir Henry Bessemer was certain his first-class passengers would step off the ship as fresh as a daisy, just like when they boarded. Still, the designers hedged their bets by including 2 retiring rooms where ladies and gentlemen could recover in private if the sea managed to get the better of them, or Ash would say, Barfarino crazy style.
I would say that, yes.
Yes. It took me a long time to remember Barfarino. It took me like way too long to remember. I was sitting at my keyboard just like, what did she say?
Barfarino, bad style.
Barfarino, crazy. Not everyone was sold on the idea, though. Critics, including some naval architects, doubted the gyroscopic apparatus could keep up with the unpredictable motion of the seas, and they feared the saloon might still pitch and roll, potentially turning Bessemer's dream into a fucking nightmare.
Especially if
how
you're
many
get,
axes?
If you get seasick and you're drinking, it just doesn't seem like a good combo. I don't know. That's just me.
Well, in theory, though,
Like-
this should work, right?
In theory, I should be a millionaire, but here I am.
How many axes? Like, how did it just go side to side, or did it?
Oh,
go,
we will answer that, my friend. Don't you worry
back
about
I
to
that.
wonder
stern?
if it would be worse, like if it didn't work fully, I wonder if it would be worse to like have that like disconnect between the C and your well, let Andrew tell us about it.
Yeah.
I agree with you there, Ash. If there's a disconnect or if it goes too hard, then you might just be spinning out of control. Who knows? Anyway, after its initial launch, the Bessemer was moored at Hull Roads for its luxurious interior to be fitted. A reporter from the Daily News later described the saloon as superbly furnished floating clubhouse. The ship boasted a large smoking lounge, several staterooms, refreshment bars, cloakrooms, and even an office for small parcels. Passengers could also enjoy, quote, delightful promenades on the upper deck safely above the ocean spray. It was pure luxury at sea. Sounds pretty nice, not gonna lie. I'd be interested in seeing this.
It's like that really fancy ferry in Helsinki.
Oh yeah.
Tell us about it.
There's a ferry that'll take you from Helsinki to Tallinn, Estonia, and it's like super nice. It's got like a mall and restaurants inside of it. It's basically what like a bunch of cruise ships were based off of, and it's just like super nice. And if you ever need to go to Tallinn, Estonia from Helsinki, you should take the ferry, and you can drive your car onto it, and they store all the cars underneath, and then you can drive them off when you get to it.
Is it gyroscope? My car gets car sick or wait, seasick. Wait.
Well, I think they have different technology now for keeping ships level.
Okay. Well, let's go on to the maiden voyage almost. On October 21st, a fierce gale wind swept across the United Kingdom, and the ship got dragged. Even though its anchors were down, it got dragged elsewhere and it ended up stuck on a mudflat along the northern bank of the Humber River.
Oh no!
Luckily, the tide came to its rescue and it floated away the same day. No harm done.
Luckily,
Technically not the maiden voyage.
it could go backwards and forwards. So like,
Yes, as fast as it can go backwards and forwards. So that was technically, I guess, the maiden voyage, even though it was unexpected and unplanned. Yeah. But for real, though, the maiden voyage. By late January 1875, it took them a little bit to get it ready. The Bessemer was ready for her first sea trials on the Humber. Reports were glowing. She steered well and hit a top speed of 18 knots. The gyroscopic apparatus was said to have worked brilliantly, but there was no other passengers on board other than the crew.
yeah, it totally worked great.
In March, the Bessemer made a 24-hour journey from Hull to Gravesend on the Thames, battling a strong headwind along the way. There, she underwent additional trials, and on April 12th, the Bessemer Saloon steamship embarked on her eagerly awaited real maiden crossing to Calais. Thank you for this pronunciation. Since she hadn't yet received passenger certification from the Board of Trade, the only people aboard were the crew and a few company insiders. The Bessemer set off from Gravesend at 8:30 on a Saturday morning, cruising down the Thames and into the English Channel.
If we're doing pronunciations, it's Thames.
Okay, shut up. I'm American. Out in the open waters, she faced a strong, eagerly wind and rough seas despite challenging weather. The crossing was described as, quote, remarkably steady, leaving no chance to test her famous swinging saloon.
Everybody mad that the weather's too nice.
The weather was too nice.
Yeah, I mean, especially like on the English Channel, it's like the one day, really.
She averaged a respectable 11 knots over the 75 nautical mile journey, arriving at Calais at 3:30 that afternoon. A large crowd of curious Calais locals gathered on the pier to catch a glimpse of the one-of-a-kind ship. Unfortunately, her grand entrance hit a snag, quite literally. While docking, one of her paddle wheels smashed into the pier and damaged both the paddle wheel and the pier.
Whoops.
A little foreshadowing here. It was fixed, and the big day finally came on April 12th, 1875, the real first journey with real people on it. The Bessemer set sail from Dover with 350 invited guests on board, all eager to see Henry Bessemer's swinging saloon in action. Among the passengers were several members of the press. I know. Several members of the press.
Excited to have a wonderful time across the English Channel today. I won't nary be seasick a bit.
I don't even want to think I'm on the sea. Oh, I'll just be in a room. Oh, let's see. So there were several members of the press likely ready to sing the praises of this groundbreaking ship, but not all of the reporters were impressed. There was one called The Observer. Their correspondent said They were less than thrilled with the experience. He noted that the screws holding the movable saloon in place were never loosened, meaning that the passengers never actually got to experience the gyroscopic marble in action. They just left it there.
They forgot to turn
it on. It was a regular
on.
ship.
Lamau.
Yeah. So they just got in a regular ass ship. While various excuses were offered for why the saloon didn't swing, the reporter claimed he'd been told the real reason: the gyroscopic apparatus simply didn't work.
Makes sense.
It could it could shift the saloon from side to side, but it couldn't control the rise and fall with enough precision to keep the saloon steady. So back to what Zach was saying, yes, it went side to side, but the up and down
Yeah, it was still pitch.
fucked everything up.
Yeah. I feel like that would be worse.
Didn't work.
This guy's fucking Elon Musk, man.
He's oh man. To cap off the 90-minute non-event, the Bessemer entered Calais harbor far too quickly to maneuver around in the small enclosed port and collided with the pier, just like the last time, except this time it smashed so hard that it broke a huge part of the pier off. I think I wrote, 50 or 60 yards of the pier were smashed.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
And it says the water of the harbor was covered with broken planks and beams. And I have there's an artist rendition of it that one of the newspapers did.
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
And there it is, smashing into the pier.
Oh,
Get wrecked,
that's a
idiots.
big smash. There's lots of debris everywhere. I like all the people standing on the deck looking like, oh no.
Put this pier here.
So it swung a little wide.
So the very same pier that it damaged the first time, it damaged it even more the second time.
Who is driving this boat? They need to get it together.
Coming back for revenge. Gotta finish the pier off this time.
Bill, you hit the pier again, bud. Again?
I did it on purpose.
Yeah,
I'll do it again.
It was the gyroscope. The gyroscope's fault.
Really hate that pier.
The gyroscope's getting his brain.
That
He's like,
pier
the
killed my
gyroscopes are talking to me. They're telling me to crash the ship.
The reporter, quote from the article that they wrote, "The Bessemer is too long a vessel for the Calais harbor. There must always be a certain amount of risk in her entering so narrow a port with the velocity required to carry her across the bars." A month later, the Calais municipality sent the saloon ship company a bill for 2,000 euros to cover the cost of repairing the pier. And that's all she wrote.
And so they're just like, we're done. Wrap it up.
That was the Bessemer's last voyage. Aside from her return to England, investors decided to cut their losses. The company was shut down. The engines, the swinging saloon, and other fittings were stripped out. And by the end of the year, the rest of the ship was sold for scrap. And just like that, the short but eventful career of the Bessemer saloon steamship came to a close. The end.
Great idea. Terrible execution.
You know what they say? Smash my pier once.
Well, that's how the name Pier 1 became.
Oh. Because it's Pier 2.
Yeah.
The second one just got obliterated.
Yeah.
They're on Pier 3
And
now.
that is the story of the SS Bessemer. Smashed one pier, smashed another pier, done. Retired. No more.
That's really funny.
What do we think?
I really wanted it to be a success.
I did
I
too.
mean,
Like,
I knew it wasn't going
that
to be.
sounds cool.
I hope one day
from
it becomes
the
a
context.
success.
I mean,
are you gonna flex your Baron muscles here and try and
No,
Wow.
too busy.
I mean, that
No,
like
okay.
exists now,
Shit.
right? They have stabilizers on ships
no,
now.
never existed. Still waiting.
still waiting?
They're
Be
not
a modern-
gyroscopes, but
You know,
Modern Marvel,
it may
whatever
have worked.
happens.
It may have worked if they didn't use any engines and just had more masts. Like 9 more.
instead of a gyroscope, they needed just like a little baby swing that could go any direction.
like a hammock?
Yeah, like a hammock, or the stand up roller coasters. Like put them in a little apparatus like that, and then just put them on a little track so it can stabilize itself, and just have everybody stand in their little spot.
Back to the roller coaster episode.
Always comes back. Go listen to that
Please
episode.
listen. It's really good. So yeah, those are my 2 tales of ambitious ships that ultimately failed triumphantly. One of them resulted in a lot of deaths and a terrible oil spill. The other one was just sad.
Come to my boat. It's got a gyroscope, theoretically.
But we didn't turn it on, and it didn't work.
That's like that's like the Cybertruck. You buy the Cybertruck. It has all these awesome features. Theoretically,
Don't get it wet.
They're not ready yet. You can't use them, but we didn't turn them on.
But it could be cool. It could be really cool.
Also, don't slam your door too hard because the frame
If we
will rip
made
off.
it right, it would be so cool.
So that's my episode on those ships. The end. That's all I got.
Fun. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked everything about it.
I liked it. Yeah, good episode.
Bo, what was your favorite part?
What was it called? Damn it.
Spanker?
The spanker. Yeah, thank you. That's it. Everything. I zoned out everything after that. But also thinking about
Just thinking about spanking.
Bo was zoned out. He heard Spanker, zoned back in, and then zoned back out again.
And I went back to doing barren things. You know me.
Just shining your monocle.
Yes.
Oh,
Mr. Baron. You dare approach the Baron.
Oh,
for unship-related things.
Who dares enter the
I'm twirling
Baron's
my mustache.
chambers?
I'm twirling my mustache so much.
Actually, it's funny. I've been doing that the whole podcast too because I shaved my face to just mustache right now. So I just been playing with the mustache.
You knew it was coming. He knew the Baron stuff was
You
coming.
gotta get some wax for that mustache.
Wax it up, Baron.
Wax it up.
Wax.
Wax. Zach, what was your favorite part?
My favorite part is the picture with all these masts on the fucking ship.
Yes.
It was so funny to me just seeing them all lined up in a row.
It's so stupid.
It looks so silly.
It really does look like a shitty Photoshop. Like someone just took the front part and then just extended the middle and then just slapped
Just
an
use
end
the
on
clone tool.
it. Ridiculous. Ash, what about you? What was your favorite part?
I liked all of it. I already said.
Yeah, but what was your favorite though?
My favorite was the fact that he forgot to turn on the gyroscope. Or that he didn't turn on the gyroscope because it didn't work.
Specifically didn't. My favorite part is the picture of the ship crushing it.
Yeah, that's my second
It's
favorite
so
part.
funny. Like it's an action shot too. Like if you see it on our Instagram, there's planks flying. Like it's.
Well, look, there's people. If you look at the people on the near the wheel on the right, it looks like they have their hands on their heads. Like, oh,
Like, oh my god!
Oh no!
Oh, core blimey!
Well, that's what it costs.
It's a
penny,
pier,
isn't
isn't
it?
it?
First, the gyroscope's non-functional. Now this. What a blimey, dodgy codger. I don't know.
I
I couldn't have said it any better.
I can't do accents, so I'm not participating.
Yeah, I'm about to do JFK if I try, so I'm not going to do it.
Say bacon in a Jamaican accent, and you'll be saying beer can in an English accent.
Wait, say what?
Say bacon in a Jamaican accent, and you'll be saying beer can in an English accent.
Bacon.
I can't do one.
Bacon.
Bacon. It's bacon.
It's
I'm back to
bacon.
JFK. God damn it.
Beer can. Beer can. Beer can. Beer
Well, thanks for
can. Can you
listening
tell which
to
accent is
my-
which? You can't because they sound the same.
No, I just keep hearing beer can.
Yeah.
Beer can. See, look,
Beer
I'm
can.
Jamaican. Beer can. Beer can.
Bacon.
Beer
All
can.
right, that's in this episode. So thanks for listening to my story about boats. I hope you
Zach
enjoyed it.
took
Zach,
us in.
take us
So
out.
Zach, take us out.
Hey, that was episode about boats, hosted by Andrew. I introduced to doing a song. I'm going to take it out with a song. Just kidding.
No,
I'm not gonna do a
you said
song.
you weren't doing the song.
Oh,
I kind of want it.
Nope, you don't get it. I'm gonna.
I want it now.
Now
Wait,
that you said
can I
that
have
you
it?
want it, I'm
Wait.
gonna.
Oh,
wow.
change his mind.
Bo wouldn't do
Baron-
the sexy
the
voice for
Baron
you when he
demands- do it
expects
for
you
the
to do
Baron.
something.
Do it for the Baron.
Your Baron requires an exit
That was
song.
Get Dumped on Podcast. We do the best podcast. You do the best podcast because we got a lot of ships, and we got a lot of ships because we're the best podcast. And look at that ship; it's got too many masts. Anyway, that was that. This is this, and I hope you have
What?
a really
That was that,
great
and this is
evening
this.
or morning or whatever day that you're doing this, whatever time of day that you're listening to this. I hope that it's a good time of day for you. That was Andrew with the thing about the ships, and
That's
you're
me.
listening to Get Dumped On Podcast. Follow us on @GetDumpeddPodcast at Instagram. Email us your suggestions. Email us questions. If you want to like ask a question that we can answer on air, send it to getdumpedonpodcast@gmail.com and
Or DM us on Instagram.
or DM us on Instagram. And I love you.
Slide in.
And thanks for
And
listening.
don't forget to do episode suggestions, and I will do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bo really wants to do a crazy one. So give him something very hard.
Yeah.
Like the theory of relativity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's the theory of relativity?
This is this, and that is that.
There it is.
Okay, bye.
See you in
Okay,
a couple
bye.
weeks.
Bye,
Love you, bye.
Goodbye.
Spanker. Ash and Zach are super smart. They went to college and learned a bunch of stuff. And Bo and Andrew didn't go to college because that's just the way life goes sometimes. What happens when you put them together and you try to make them learn? Grab your friends, let's listen together on Get Dumped on an Info Dump podcast.
Okay.
Watch out for peers, they'll get you.